Halo Infinite was a game fueled by hope. Old Halo fans hoped that the series could go back to its glory days, and new Halo fans like myself hoped it would be as good as the old Halo story said. Now, almost 9 months since launch, it seems those hopes were in vain. Halo Infinite is not at all a bad game, and maybe if it wasn't part of the legendary series that it is, it would have performed better. But when it was released, expectations were incredibly high. There have been so many great games in the Halo series, it was expected to be amazing, and people really wanted it to be amazing. I believe that the latter is part of the reason why the game held up for as long as it did. People were willing to turn a blind eye to the game's many flaws if it meant that Halo was finally back. The game actually did pretty well in reviews, and it deserved it. The gunplay, vehicles, and movements felt smooth and well made. The campaign was enjoyable with plenty of Easter eggs, fun challenges, and reminders of old Halo games. However, problems started to arise when people had played for long enough. The core parts of the game that people often reminisce about when they think about past Halo games just weren't there. Infection, co-op campaign, SWAT, King of the Hill, Forge, none of them were there. And while the things that were there were well designed and gave people hope, the necessary updates just didn't come fast enough. The events that did come along were lackluster, and were designed to keep the community occupied while waiting for updates instead of focusing on entertainment. Things like co-op campaign and Forge weren't predicted to be added until 6 months after launch. The players, new Halo fans especially, didn't want to wait that long for features they felt should have been there on release. The 6 game modes that were in the game on release may have lasted long enough if the map pool was larger. There were 10 maps in multiplayer on release, but due to the player counts of different game modes, they were unevenly split. Only 3 maps were available for the large team-based game modes, and of the 7 that were available for the small team game modes, there were a few that just weren't great to play on. To add to the game's issues, the in-game store was blatantly greedy. Simple recolors sold up to $20 each. And the alternative of grinding for free cosmetics in the Battle Pass was incredibly boring. This is because the only way to progress through the Battle Pass was to complete monotonous challenges that limited your gameplay to specific weapons or vehicles, and these were often the ones that weren't fun to play or were just bad. When the community cried out for a decrease in price, they got one, but it wasn't nearly enough to make many potential purchases worth it. What's worse, the prices of new items have been inching back up week by week in an attempt to raise the prices without alerting the now shrunken community. Personally, I believe that many of the monetary decisions were made by Microsoft, but that does not mean 343 is innocent. Despite all this, I do believe that there is hope for Halo Infinite, and I really want it to succeed. If all the desired game modes are added, the events are made more exciting, and the shop prices are bearable, the game would be enjoyable again. I had a ton of fun playing right after launch, so I know it's possible to make this game amazing with the right changes. Of course, this is unlikely and would require a lot of time, but I have hope. However, if the game is not fixed or the next Halo game is disappointing, the Halo franchise itself could be in trouble.